What's good, y'all? It's the one and only King Cal 516 live in the mix, and this is the Switch Flame Podcast. Make sure you hit up the sites. You see all the information right above on top there, or of our social media sites. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button. Definitely appreciate your support. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you think. If the Bulls are contenders, I'm going to break down my opinion on this. Shout out to Aguado. We're going to send this video out. He listed in the comments from another video that he wanted some Bulls content, so I'm going to deliver that for him. If you guys want to see me talk about certain things, just put it in the comments. And if it's reasonable, I'll try to get to it as soon as I can if you just be patient. Anyhow, I want to get into are the Chicago Bulls contenders. And the Bulls, to me, had a great offseason. You can argue they had the best offseason. It's just as far as free agent signings. They were able to pick up Lonzo Ball, and they were able to pick up DeMar DeRozan. Those were the two big pickups. They were able also to get Alex Caruso as well into the fray. So I believe overall the Bulls did very good. Those are the key pickups in my opinion, right? So if you look at the Chicago Bulls team right now, they are tied for number 2 in the Eastern Conference. They have 12 wins and 6 losses on the season. They're tied with the Miami Heat for second place in the Eastern Conference, and they're only a game behind the Brooklyn Nets. So they're right in the thick of things. It's still early in the season. We haven't even got 25% of the games in yet. So I don't want to over-project what I feel about the Bulls. What I'll say is this. If the Bulls can keep this steady pace, meaning that their engines are DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine, hands down, those two guys, the offense is running through them. They're the reason why this team, a big chunk of the reason why this team is as successful as it is this season. They got to continue playing at the level they're playing at. They both are playing at incredible levels. So if those two guys are continuing playing like they are, they're going to win a lot of regular season games. And for me, that's the most important thing in trying to answer a question if the Bulls are contenders. I do not think they have a deep bench. I like Alex Caruso. He has experience. I mean, he won a title with the Lakers. He has playoff experience. That's good. But overall, they're top heavy. And I don't think their bench is that deep. I think Patrick Williams, he's a young cat. He was starting power forward, but I think that's a big loss for them. For the season, Kobe White has just come back. Another guard that can come off the bench and put up some points. But overall, I'm not really convinced on the bench. Now, the benefit they have is they can stagger. Come playoff time, they could do what a lot of teams do. They can stagger Zach LaVine, and they can stagger DeMar DeRozan. You understand what I'm saying? Vucevic is another guy who can put up some points. He can shoot from outside. He's a spacer. He's very good. He has a very good touch of the game, feel of the game for a big. So he's a crucial piece. Lonzo Ball shooting lights out as well from the 3. He's improved his free throw shooting. So he's a guy now that you can trust in the clutch. You can keep him on the floor. You couldn't really say that early on in his career. He wouldn't be playing too much clutch minutes because of that. So Lonzo Ball has improved his game. I like their team. So this is not a knock for all you Bulls fans that think I'm knocking your team. I like your team. But they are a little more top heavy. They're not that deep. Obviously, teams in the playoffs cut down their rotations, so that will help them. But they're going to have to definitely depend on DeMar and LaVine, especially LaVine. See, for me in all of this, Zach LaVine is the key, right? To all of this. He's never been in the playoffs. So that's a lot to ask. He's got to take it another level in the playoffs for the Bulls to have any chance contending. I do not know if DeMar DeRozan could be a number 1 in the playoffs because with Toronto, he just couldn't get the job done, right? And then as soon as they trade him off, granted now LeBron did leave the conference. You can say that. But nevertheless, Kawhi comes in and they won a championship, which tells me that team was already a championship quality team because they basically had the same pieces. The major change to that team was adding Kawhi Leonard instead of DeMar DeRozan. And Kawhi is more of a true number 1. Is Zach LaVine a number 1? That is a question. We haven't seen him in the playoffs. We do not know. But I do expect the Bulls, as long as those key guys are healthy, I do expect them to get their playoffs, and I'm expecting them to be a top 4 seed. I think that's crucial because I think home court advantage for a team like this, even though they have some veterans, they're mostly a young team. That's very much crucially helpful come playoff time for a team that's overall young and the star player that they're going to depend on has never been in the playoffs. So my thing is this: if the Bulls can get one of those top 2 seeds, I think they can. If they get the right matchups, I think they can possibly get to Eastern Conference Finals. I do not see them contending for a title this year. I think they're still a couple seasons away. I think they have to fine-tune that bench around these guys a little bit more. But would I say I'd be 100% surprised if they sneak their way to a championship? No. Anything can happen. Injuries can happen to key matchups and give them an edge. But overall, I think they peak the season, if everything falls right, is the Eastern Conference Finals. And that's as far as I think they could go. Realistically, I think if they get a top 4 seed, they can win their first matchup, and then they're probably going to be a second round exit. That's my opinion, realistically, right? But let me break down a little bit Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan before we head out of here, right? So DeMar DeRozan, we know for a fact he's having a good season, but DeMar DeRozan right now is averaging 23 points, 5.1 rebounds, 4.7 assists, over 48% shooting from the field. If you can get that DeMar DeRozan in the playoffs, you're good, right? You're good. If you can get that from DeMar DeRozan, you're good. Once again, my opinion, it's all about Zach LaVine. Look what Zach LaVine is doing right now. Zach LaVine is averaging 25.9 points per game, 5.4 rebounds, 3.7 assists off of 48.4% shooting from the field. Good numbers. Can Zach LaVine come playoff time average 27, 28? That's basically what we're talking about. He's got to up his average in the playoffs. Can he up that from there? He's going to have to play out of his mind because in the clutch situations, we've seen DeMar DeRozan enough to know he's just not that number one guy. He's a great player. I think he can be a number 2 in the championship team, but it just depends how good that number 1 player is, right? So, to me, once again, Bulls, your hope is what level can Zach LaVine play? Now, I'll give you an example of a guy who played out of his mind last season. Trae Young. Trae Young had a phenomenal playoffs. Things struck the right way for the Hawks. They made it to the conference semifinals. But now let's look at another team, the New York Knicks, who the Atlanta Hawks went against the first round. Julius Randle, his first playoffs. He didn't do too well, right? Now, we do not know Zach LaVine's first playoffs. If it goes more like Trae Young, you can give the Bulls an outside chance. If he can play and step up his level like Trae Young did, and he's scoring phenomenal and he steps his game up higher level, oh yeah, right? But it's the unknown, right? So if I'm a betting man, I'm not going to put too much stock in that because that's the unknown. I like proven talent. I know KD can get the job done. I just saw Giannis get the job done, so now I know Giannis can get the job done, right? Until somebody gets the job done, we do not know if they can get the job done, right? So, Bulls, you're going to have a great season. If you're fans, even if you don't win a championship this year, I think you're going to have a season where you can build upon and you're going to have to be happy and you should be excited about this team because they are heading in the right direction. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see how this all unfolds. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you think. Do you agree with me? Do you think the Bulls are a contender? Do you think they're not a contender? Let me know what you think. Like I said, my opinion, if things hit the right way, they can potentially, on a real possible level, probably get to the Eastern Conference Finals, right? And then they're out. But most likely for me, as long as they're top 4 seed, I think they can win their first matchup. And then after that, they're probably eliminated, right? So, with that said, it's your boy King Cat 516 signing off. This has been the Switch Flames Podcast, y'all. Peace out.